The Dallas Cowboys offense was rolling against the Chicago Bears. The Cowboys were able to convert of 9 of 11 on third down. Is Dak Prescott back and better than ever?
Better than ever is a high standard to reach because he's had Rookie of the Year campaigns. He's had first half of last year, he was an MVP candidate. But as Barry Switzer used to say, half 150 points. They almost put half 100 on a team in the NFL. And certainly this much is true. Dak Prescott was, and there was a couple throws he'd like to have back, obviously, but Dak-uracy, we like to call it. He was on point. So the rust period for Dak Prescott is over with. Now we've got the bye, so rust moves to rest, moves to the rest of the season.
I love that. Let's continue to talk about Tony Pollard, who showed off that elusiveness against the Bears. He's also averaging 6.3 yards per carry, which is second highest in the league. Do you think that everyone is surprised by how Pollard is playing?
Here in the building, they're not.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they've been saying, told you so, is his ability to break tackles.
Yeah.
And I think we all know that he's speedy and elusive.
And those cuts.
And that's we see that all the time.
Right.
What you don't see on the practice field or when we were in Oxnard, you don't see him breaking tackles because there aren't tackles.
Yeah, true.
If you try to shoelace tackle him, it will not work. He'll step through you. If you try to arm tackle him, he will break your arm off. He's bigger than people think. You know, he's about the same size as Deebo Samuel, who people think is a beast.
Right.
Well, maybe Tony Pollard's a beast as well. The next chapter of this, of course, is bench this guy, start that guy stinks, that guy. And the Cowboys, I think, are wisely not buying into that. There's plenty of room for both of them. But as we have suggested at CowboysSI.com and on the Fish Report, a few more touches for Tony Pollard?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a few more touches for Tony Pollard.
That was a perfect transition for me. Do you think that Tony earned those touches, and is there a quote-unquote running back controversy here in Dallas?
If you think about what they did with the quarterback controversy, where they managed it in the room, in the locker room, and so it never became one.
Right.
And that thing, you know, Jerry Jones said he wanted one because he liked the marketing of it all, and because it would mean that Cooper Rush was playing well. But he didn't really want one in the place where it counts, which is in the locker room. That can be an almost cancerous thing. They don't have that. There is an understanding here of what Ezekiel Elliott is as a person, as a player, as a heart and soul guy.
And how cool is it to see Zeke on the sideline when Tony scores, and you can tell genuine happiness?
It's absolutely pivotal. There's guys who fake it. There's guys who don't bother faking it.
Right.
You know Zeke.
Yeah, he's not faking it.
He doesn't really have any fake in him. Whether you're like this or like that about him, he doesn't care.
Right.
He does what he does. You know, those cameras, and this is the job of the network, and of course the rest of us were eyeballing it too. Yeah. Those cameras are looking to see if there's a guy going, no, just one ball. Oh, no. Nothing like that. That's just not part of the spirit of this locker room. Now, is Zeke competitive? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Does he want, is he going to volunteer to give up carries? It's going to be his idea? No. So, you know what? Every coach will tell you competition's good. And now, even at running back, where they have a two-time rushing champion here in Ezekiel Elliott, a little bit of competition.
Micah Parsons scored his first NFL touchdown, which brings me to the question, is there anything that Micah cannot do?
We've played this game before, and we keep talking about we're going to present this to him.
Right.
Our experience with him is, if you asked him, can you play the piano, he would say, yeah, probably. Even though he never has. How about the banjo? Can you just climb it?
Well, now he wants to get some touches at running back.
Okay, this is a really interesting concept. And as he demonstrated, because he's run the football in his life before, as somebody put up a video on Twitter that showed him, I guess, in high school. And of course, he's twice as big as all the other kids. And Zeke goes, you're the same size then as you are now. It's not fair. He can do things like a big old fullback could do them. He is 250, but he also runs at almost 4.3 40. To take this idea seriously, because obviously if the Cowboys put him in at running back at the goal line, he would love it, no question, and it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Until he breaks his shoulder. Then it wouldn't be that funny. Not that you can't get hurt breaking your shoulder on defense. Obviously you can. You can also get hurt falling in the bathtub. But a head coach would get fired for goofing around like that. I think there are things you can do on the practice field. You can put in a play where he lines up as an extra tight end.
Well, you saw it with Christian McCaffrey throwing a touchdown pass.
Right. And there's ways to do it effectively. Then there's some ways to do it fun at practice. Hey, if we ever get around to running the triple reverse, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And that can kind of pick up the spirit of a practice. But think about goal line. He's not better than Ezekiel Elliott at the goal line.
Yeah.
So why would you put him in an inferior player just for a goof? But you want to put him in as a third tight end and let him stand around in a blowout? That's more of a possibility. I'll give you this one. When the Cowboys go to victory formation, the Tom Landry victory formation, and they put Kevontae Turpin as the running back, way back, it's an offensive safety, basically. In case something goes wrong, we have a fast guy that's going to catch the other team's guy who picks up the ball.
Right.
Micah, you can go play running back there. In case there's ever a mistake, you can tackle somebody. That could be your job as running back.
I like that. That's a good compromise. The Cowboys are on a bye week now, so as we look at the next week or two, what do you think is the main goal for Dallas as they head into the season?
Knowing coaches as we do, yeah, you're supposed to get out of the building and go home and hug your wife and all that kind of stuff. But they'll be studying the Packers. That's the next game on the slate here. That is a organization and a team and a franchise that the Cowboys have really struggled with. And it's because of Aaron Rodgers, of course, who's really struggling right now.
Yeah.
They are not good. The Green Bay Packers are not good.
Yeah. To the shock of many.
Yeah.
Most.
Well, because Aaron Rodgers,
Has always been able to create magic.
Correct.
Yeah.
They play Buffalo on Sunday night. They can't get anything going.
Yeah.
They lose to a mediocre at best Washington team. Although, by the way, to Ron Rivera's credit, they've won 3 straight in Washington as we speak. So I think, get your bye and hug your wife and say hi to the kids and get going on the Packers.
We are halfway through the NFL season, so as we look at the Dallas Cowboys, who would you pick as your MVP of the first half of the season?
It's not a running back, and it's not a wide receiver, and it's not a quarterback.
Which is shocking because most of the time, it's an offensive player.
Right. But it's not going to be, Cooper Rush is not going to be your team MVP. He can have some other award.
Most improved.
There you go. Micah Parsons.
Gotta be.
In fact, not only is Micah Parsons the MVP of the Cowboys, he's a candidate to be defensive MVP of the league. The sacks, the turnaround plays. You know, he's talked about, I'm going to get an interception. No, actually, what he said at training camp is, I'm going to lead the team in interceptions.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He'd never had one before in his life, and as we speak here, still hasn't.
Yeah.
But playmaking, turnaround plays, he does that, including obviously the fumble recovery for a touchdown against the Bears. If Micah Parsons is a finalist for defensive MVP, then he's obviously a finalist for Cowboys MVP. I think it's an easy pick.
I couldn't agree more. Fish, before I let you go, is there any whispers going on around the Star as the Cowboys head into bye week?
By the time that we view this and you consume this, it may have already happened. But I got to hang out with Jerry Jones after the Bears game, and it was 3 waves of media. There was an at-large thing in which he suggested that they're open to the idea of trading, maybe for a wide receiver. Tuesday, by the way, the trade deadline. Then there was about 3 of us, and he talked more about giving up future currency, meaning a draft pick, to do it. Good. Then, humble brag, then we rode up the elevator together. Sorry you missed that. I don't know where you were. And Jerry and I rode up the elevator together, and he talked about, I'm a wildcatter. Taking risks is what I do.
Yeah.
It's part of my lifeblood. And my impression, again, we'll monitor this as we go to the deadline. And by the way, we can also monitor it after the deadline, because Steven says that the guy you add doesn't necessarily have to be on a team right now. Well, like Odell Beckham Jr., that would be the first name that pops up.
Right.
Jerry's instincts are telling him, go for this.
Grab a receiver.
And do it now and get it good. And we're not talking about a 5th wide receiver. We're talking about somebody that steps in and plays. And here's part of his logic. Look at the NFC. Who's good?
The Cowboys and the Eagles. And the
Cowboys
Giants.
and the Eagles and the Giants and the Vikings.
Yeah.
Where are the Bucks? Where are the Packers? Where are the Rams? Those 3 teams' struggles, and they're traditionally good teams, have left an opening for Jerry Jones's Cowboys to say, go for it on the trade because there's an opening there. Let's go through the opening.
Yeah, so he must have a lot of ambition about this postseason.